Cybermaterial presents Ask Me Anything Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for a high-energy, no-fluff recap of the week's biggest cyber stories. From data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special, live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. Without further ado, let's get this event started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything Cyber. I'm your host, Prapti Pal, and today's session is very special one. Joining me is my amazing co-host, CTO of 911 Cyber, Sophia. Hi, Sophie. How are you doing today?
Hi everyone, how's it going?
And together, we are thrilled to welcome our guest, Nelia Feliz, Information Security Engineer at Yale School of Management and Director of Expansion for Latinas in Cyber NYC. Hi, Nelia.
Hi, everyone.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing
Yes,
well.
we're doing great.
Nelia is an inspiring voice in cybersecurity, and today we'll talk about her path, her work at Yale, her mission to empower women in cyber, and also we will all talk about how to recognize and avoid modern online scams. So let's get it started. And for those of you watching us live right now, this is an interactive session, and that's what makes it so special. So make sure to drop your questions into our LinkedIn or Substack chat, and we'll bring them into the discussion live right now. So, Nelia, to start us off, can you share what drew you into cybersecurity and what shaped your career path?
Sure. So my career path is a little bit different because I was in the military for 10 years, 5 years active, 5 years reserve. And even though I did not start in cyber while I was in the military, I did something called I was in embassies abroad. So I was a Marine security guard. And that's when I got introduced to physical security. I did not know it at the time, obviously, but that's when it first started. So then after I got out of the military, after 5 years, I lived in San Diego, California. And when I was in California, I started working for the Department of Defense. And there I started doing something called personnel security. So that's when
Mhm.
we hand out the actual clearances to the different members. So I started doing personnel security. So I had a few pillars under me for cyber that I had no idea that I was going to end up there. So then I started working at a lab. There was 3 programs in the lab, and I was the lab manager at the time. And that's when I got introduced to information security, computer security. And I started scanning, I started doing IT in the sense of like help desk type of tasks.
Yeah.
And that is what started me into cyber. From there, I started doing RMF packages and different things like that. And I have been in different industry. I've worked for the Department of Defense, I worked for healthcare, and now I work in academia.
That's nice to hear. And what does a typical day for you look like at the Yale School of Management as an information security engineer?
So every day is a little bit different. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it, right? I would be working on vulnerability management in the morning, reviewing
Mhm.
alerts from our several monitoring tools, or collaborating with different departments to improve security practices. A big part of my role is translating the technical tools and the risk into business language. So
Uh-huh.
helping like non-technical teams understand why certain controls matters. So my job is about protecting data and keeping people empowered, not overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, people can get easily overwhelmed when it comes to the technical terms of cybersecurity. So that's actually amazing to hear. And Sophie, for you, as an incident responder, what does a typical day at 911 Cyber look like?
So, as everybody here, I guess, I also as Nelia too. Like I can say, like
Mhm.
it's a very dynamic job, and there are no 2 days that are the same.
Mhm.
So, I usually start reviewing alerts, tickets that came overnight, and checking for anything that needs like immediate attention or any customer that reach out to us with an emergency. And then we usually investigate these incidents. It could mean like analyzing logs, network traffic, or endpoint data to understand what happened and how fast we need to
Yeah.
react. And also, as Anelia said, a big part of my day is also communicating with other teams, also to talk about like with management if there's any specific that we need to like involve the attorneys, or if we need to involve another like team to escalate. But anyway, I'm spend most of my time documenting data, I can say. And yeah, and that's pretty much what my
Day to day looks like?
day to day looks like as a CTO of the company, and also working as an incident responder, as what we do as mainly like we focus mainly.
That's actually great to hear from both of you where and how your career in cybersecurity started from and what you do day to day. And you're both women who built strong careers in a field that still has like a gender gap, whether we like to admit it or not. And
Mhm.
what were some of the challenges you faced entering cybersecurity and how did you overcome them? Nelia, would you like to talk about this first?
Sure. So honestly, walking into rooms where I was the only woman, let alone the only Latina, can feel a little bit intimidating. But again, because of my background, I was a Marine. So there was one of me and 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I am really like used to being the minority wherever I go, because I'm a female, because I'm a Latina. And
Mm-hmm.
even though to this day, believe it or not, I can experience imposter syndrome, it happens, right? I do
Yeah.
a brief and I don't feel great about it. And then I doubt myself, and I'm very hard on myself. So one of the things that I do to grow from that and
Yeah.
realize that no, I got it, is to sit with myself and understand all the accolades and everything that I have accomplished thus far. Like I got here because of my wit, because of my desire to grow. So that's how I would explain it. And then I also have a really good support system around me that helps me, and that changes everything. What about you,
That's
Sophie?
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
what
I
about
mean,
you, Sophie?
well, as you mentioned, we all have like the same issue. Like whenever like you walk into a room and you always feel outnumbered, like meetings or mostly like in the field or even at events. Like you may be like the only female working in cybersecurity sometimes, and there's also sometimes where you are looking out for some role models and you don't find that many women that may have gone through the same path as you. So but what really helped me like navigate the cybersecurity landscape is to find like a supportive community, like mentors, peers, and organizations that they focus
Mhm.
on women in tech. I'm also like a volunteer for the Diana Initiative that helps a lot of like underrepresented people in cybersecurity to
Yeah.
find like to find help, like for like to prepare certifications or like polish your resume or prepare for an interview. So these type of communities help you like find your place in cybersecurity, and it helps you a lot. And of course, finding the right mentors can help you too. So if you are like trying to break into cyber or looking for women in the field, try to find them and ask them for mentorship or for advice in the field. It will help you a lot.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for your answer. And Nalia, as a director of expansion for Latinas in cyber, what's your vision for the chapter and how do you plan to support women entering and growing in this field?
Mhm.
So I think that what Sophia said was great because that's exactly what the chapter is about, impact
Mhm.
through unity. That is why we're trying to build this chapter to connect women who are ready to grow, learn, and lead in cybersecurity. We want to create a space that blends community, career, and visibility, where women can show up as themselves and still be as expert. I want every event to end with somebody saying, I didn't think I belong in cyber, but now I know I do. Right. So it's very important, like Sophia said, to get that community and to build upon that. So that's what we're trying to do here with launching the chapter in New York.
Yeah, and
That's
I get to
amazing.
participate at the summit, and it was so much fun, and I get to meet a lot of people, and I was so happy to be able to lead that lab, and we got a lot of like interesting like I can say mini students
And
asking a lot of
she
questions.
doesn't know it yet, but she's coming to the launch and she's probably gonna do a lab or be in the panel. She doesn't know it yet.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because somebody did it for me before, so I'm here to give back to the community and help all the other women's like have someone that can help them in the cybersecurity field.
It's great to see all the women coming together. And to add on that, Nadia, what advice would you give to someone starting out in cybersecurity today, especially if they come from, an underrepresented background?
So I would say that is your superpower because you come from a different background. You
Mhm.
understand things differently. You can relate to different people. You can talk to different people because you have to come a lot of adversity because you're coming from those underrepresented. Use that as
Mhm.
your fuel. The other thing is, I had a conversation with someone that reached out to me in LinkedIn. And I think what I told him was look around you, right? You don't have to go far. Look around you. So if you have a job, they have cyber. If you went to school, they have cyber. So what is the best thing to do is to reach out to those people. You have 30 minutes of lunch or an hour of lunch, offer, raise your hand and say, "Hey, I have 30 minutes. What can I help you with?" That will help you understand the tools, the terminology, all of those things as they're getting the certs, as they're getting started. This will help them to get to where they need to go. Network. That person that reached out to me in LinkedIn does not know me, but I am a
Mhm.
cybersecurity engineer and I could lead him in asking the right questions, right? So when I had the conversation with him, I told him reach out to somebody in the infosec in your team because he has a job, thankfully. So he told me, "Oh my God, I wish that I would have spoken to you before I spoke to this person because now I have questions that I can go back to and ask." And that to me brings joy to my life. Like that just lights me up. I love helping people. So that's what I would say. Like that is why I started my YouTube. It's to help. It's to talk about these little things that people don't think about because they're not cyber. I also get a lot of people coming from what is that called? From the military, and they're like, "Oh, I want to get into cyber." As soon as you enter the gate, you're dealing with cyber. Your ID has a PKI. You're dealing with
Yeah.
cyber, and they don't even know it.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I went long-winded there, but it's my passion.
I definitely get it. And Sophie, what would
Yeah.
be your advice?
Yeah, I mean, my advice that I always like live by is to be curious, like to be persistent. And I can always say, like, don't let anybody define your potential for cybersecurity because it's a field that is constantly evolving. So you belong because you can do whatever you want in cybersecurity if you set your mind to. And there's so many things that you can do in cyber. So if that means that you don't know how to code or you know how to code, you can do both. Like you can do from governance to actually like pen testing. So it's so like vast things that you can do in cyber. So don't be intimidated by the name cybersecurity. So be curious and always stay up to date to what is happening out there, new APTs, new summits. So those are the things that help you like grow as a professional. And I always mention this, and Nelia said that networking is a must. You must network. You must connect with people in the field because you never know where your next job is coming from. It could be from someone that you meet at the meetup, or you talk to someone on LinkedIn. So you never know where it's coming from. So
Yeah.
networking is very important.
And Nilia, as you just mentioned, you recently launched your YouTube channel, Cyber with Nilia. And how do you decide on what topics to cover?
So I look at what's actually confusing people in real
Mm-hmm.
life, or we have all of these OS updates on the phones all the time and things like
Yeah.
that. And when somebody says, "Oh, I think I got hacked," or "Is this email legit?" To me, that's content because I'm actually teaching them, "Oh, there is actually a website to check the website." Like you don't have to click on it. There's actually a website to make sure that you can click on that. So I create from real questions, real moments like the one I spoke about before. That is one of the things that I'm going to probably talk about in my next release of my YouTube channel is how to network, what are the little things that you can take away. I like
Mm-hmm.
actionable things for people to take away. So my goal is to make cybersecurity a little bit less intimidating and more human. And my videos are somewhat short and they're simple and they're meant to empower everyone that wants to get into the field, not to scare anyone. So
And
that's
as you like mentioned that you want to make cybersecurity approachable to everyone. You mentioned that tech terms might be a bit too confusing, so you want to simplify it. So can you tell us some simple steps that everyday users can take to protect themselves?
sure. So one basic thing is multi-factor authentication. Now,
Yeah.
MFA, multi-factor, is on your Instagram, it's on your Facebook, it's on all of your social medias. Please turn them on. Anytime I have a chance to say this, I say this. Please turn them on because the last thing you want is somebody you've built something or you have something, or even if it's private and it's only for your own use. Now somebody has your face, or somebody has your data, or somebody's reaching out to someone else. Hey, I've gotten this. I know if you guys haven't gotten this, but I gotten this. Like, hey, my account got hacked. Please don't click on anything that somebody sent you. So you
Yep.
want to protect
Yeah.
yourself and people. Please stop your using passwords. There is password managers, and it's very easy to use them. Google has them. Droid has them. iPhone have them. A lot of different devices have them now, where you don't have to remember them anymore. You just have them locked away, and put that risk on Apple or Google. Don't put that risk on yourself.
Yeah.
And then be skeptical of urgency messages, like act now, message me, like this is the deadline, you have to do this and you have to do that. Like I remember somebody called me like, "Oh, we sent you a letter." I'm sorry, I don't listen to those. You send me a letter, it went to
Mhm.
the trash. I don't listen to when you
Yeah.
tell me that there's a deadline, there's a problem. or when they call me and they're like, oh, it's from your bank. I'm like, great, I'll call my bank myself. Click, and I
Yeah,
hang up the phone.
exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. We have seen cases like that, right? When we talk
Yeah.
about it on Reddit, that they do not confirm that it's their bank calling and they end up into a rabbit hole of problems and
Yeah.
problems. And then they ask to solve, and we try our best. And from your experience, Sophie, what are the most common cybersecurity mistakes you see individuals or organizations make?
Yeah. Well, I can say one of the like basics mistakes is what we always call cyber hygiene. What it means is like you need to be thorough with your digital practices. This means that, as Nelia said, activating 2FA, getting backup codes saved somewhere, enabling an authenticator to log in into your accounts as opposed to having SMS authentication, because sometimes you can lose your phone number, or you can be victim of a SIM swapping. So this means that if you have an authenticator, it will be a little bit like more difficult to actually get access to your OTP numbers. So these are like basic cyber hygiene steps that you need to take, like update software, and never like ignore any warning that you receive, like for example somebody logging into your account from a different device. So you always need to be like paying attention of these like warning messages that you receive. And I know we have talked in the past about alert fatigue, that you receive a
Yeah.
lot of things, so you sometimes ignore them. But please be mindful when you receive them to act fast, because the faster you act, the better it's going to be for your cyber hygiene, because you will be able to stop like the threat actors right on their steps before anything like bad happens to you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Sophie. And Nelly, what about you? What are your thoughts on this?
So common cybersecurity mistakes that I see people.
Organizations might make, you know?
Right. Um, the truth is that compliancy, like people assume that it's not going to happen to us. It can't happen to me. It can happen to us.
Yeah.
Like the organization's too small, especially like with organizations starting out, right? Like smaller organizations, they think,
Yeah.
oh, like who's going to want to hack me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, as much firewalls as you might want to have, human error, it's still going to be there. So for me, education is the strongest defense, right? So that goes again to the single person to organization. If you don't educate your people don't educate themselves to make sure that the cyber threats don't happen to them, to the organization, that's a problem. I also feel like organizations need to put a lot of emphasis into this, because your people are your biggest risk. So to protect an organization, you have to protect your people. And the only way that you're going to protect your people is to let them know that you care about them as a person. If they know that you care and you want to protect them personally, then they will carry the same habits into work, and we would probably have less incidents.
Definitely. Thank you so much, both of you, for your inspiring answers. And in any recent online scam or cyber threat you think more people should be aware of right now? Sophie or Nelly, who would like to answer this first?
If you want to go first, Nelia, that's fine.
Oh, go ahead, Sophia.
No, I like if you have any like recent online scam or cyber threat that we need to tell people like to be aware of.
Yeah.
I think the one that I'm in the academia world, right? So the one that caught my eye was one that you actually guys released on your newsletter, which was about Penn University being hacked and having a threat. So I thought that was important, but again, I come from academia. What about you, Sophia?
Well, actually, I wanted to talk about one that our CEO wrote about it last. I think it was last Cyber Hygiene. He has a newsletter too, and
Yeah.
he talk about a recent scam technique that is called ClickFix. This is something that is driving everybody crazy because it involves it's a social engineering malware delivery tactic. So they are using like the human as always, and instead of like relying on a technical exploit, they trick users into doing something like copy pasting and running a command on
Hmm.
PowerShell. So it's mostly like they're tricking users into running a PowerShell command, and because they have like an error on a website. So it works like something like, for example, you visit a website or you receive an email, and when you can open this document or you need to verify that you are not a robot, like a CAPTCHA, it says it doesn't work. So to make it work, so you can actually access what you are requesting to do, you need to do like a WinR, and you need to paste a command and hit enter. But what you're actually doing, you're copying a malware repository on your computer, on your machine. And that's like, it looks like the problem being fixed, but it's like you just install malware on your computer. And this is something that is happening, and it's called ClickFix. And I think everybody should be aware of not running any command on your machine
Yeah.
if you don't know where it's coming from.
Exactly. And if you would like to read more about it and catch up on it, you can just check out the Cyber Hygiene by our CEO, Mark Raphael, and he posts that every Wednesday. So you would probably be updated with everything from ride sharing to cloud problems to even ClickFix. So just, go there, subscribe, and every Wednesday you will know about something new on how to protect yourself. And recently, the Lazarus Group has been targeting job seekers with fake IT and cybersecurity roles. Let's watch a quick video on it to know what it's all about.
When cybercriminals pose as employers behind the fake job offer, what appears to be a legitimate remote job offer may actually be a malicious trap. Victims are lured by promises of flexible work, asked to submit their CV or GitHub link, and all the while their data is being harvested. They're then directed to clone a seemingly innocent Web3 project from GitHub or Bitbucket, but hidden beneath is a JavaScript stealer, a Python backdoor, and an elaborate malware chain.
This attack isn't just about one system. It steals crypto wallets from browsers, monitors clipboard content, disables security features, and keeps persistent control of the machine.
Backed by the North Korean-linked Lazarus Group, this campaign evolves continuously. If you're ever recruited for a job that asks you to code here or clone this repo, stop, verify, and stay safe.
So now that we know about the Lazarus Group, Nelia, what red flags should candidates look out for when applying to remote or online jobs?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I switched audio.
that's all right.
One of the things would be like job offers that skip interviews and go straight into hiring. Red flag.
Mhm.
Huge red flag. And when they ask you for any type of money, like a deposit, gift card, equipment fees, any of that stuff, red flag. I would
Mhm.
say also always verify directly with the company. So my sister actually got an email for a pretend employer, and she
Mhm.
sent it to me, and I was like, "This is not the name. The name was slightly different by one letter, literally by one letter." And when I looked it up, I told her, I said, "Well, yeah, I found this employer, but the one that emailed you is not the same, literally by
Mm.
like one letter." So those are the kind of things that I will look out for as red flags from any kind of employer nowadays, because we're in a key home market. They're going to do interviews upon interviews upon interviews before you
Yeah.
usually get hired. So
Yeah.
those are the red flags that I would look for.
Thank you so much, Nelia, for your answer. And Sophie, how can someone verify if a job, offer, recruiter, or even a company is legitimate before sharing our personal information?
Yeah, I mean, verifying a job offer or a recruiter before actually sharing personal information, I think it's a must. As Nelia mentioned, like you may be like contacted by a legit firm, but actually they are impersonating this firm. So you may be giving away like your personal information to a fake agency. And I've seen this in New York all the time. And like receiving text messages saying, "Hey, apply for this job." And then when you all go and visit this the actual website, they have a disclaimer saying, "Well, we have been impersonated. Please be aware that we are not going to be reaching out to you through an SMS." So those
Mhm.
are the things that you always need to double check. I know the job market is very I can say hot now because like there's a lot of people looking for jobs and people may be desperate or maybe in need to get hired immediately, but don't get these like to be in the way of actually being safe you and like your family, because it can also affect like identity theft, or you can even like get scammed out of money like
Mhm.
sending money to get a job. So you need to always double check this information and always check the website and make sure that is the legit agency that you are dealing with.
Definitely. And speaking of some patterns or tactics that cyber criminals might use, Nelia, are you aware of any? Would you like to tell people about what postings or, tactics to look out for in a fake job?
So you mean like in the announcements themselves?
Yeah, maybe. And something that people might not notice. You know how you mentioned that the email, you noticed it right away.
Yeah.
So something like that.
I would say look at urgency as well. Look at I put
Hmm.
a text message saying, "Oh, this is Amazon, and we're recruiting 100 and whatever people. Here is our WhatsApp." Like red flag. Red flag. Why are you giving me a WhatsApp? Just take
Hmm.
60 seconds to double check before you do anything further. Make sure that it is legit. Read the document. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure we are in the AI era, so the English might be okay, but there's little things that let you know that is AI. If there's a lot of dashes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
that for
Yep.
me, it's if there's a lot of dashes, that for me is an AI written message, and I'm going to take a second look at it just because of that. Those are the type of things that I look for. The grammar is not always right with
Hmm.
ET or AI, right? So those are the things that I will look for. And again, I don't know if you need to copy and paste into Google to make sure. You can even ask ChatGPT, is this real? Is this fake?
Yeah.
They usually like list you like, oh, this has been reported as a fake or a scam or whatever. So sort of give you some pointers there.
Thank you so much for the tip. And we have a question coming in from our LinkedIn audience, and it is actually very related to what we are talking about right now. So, if a person, and this question is by Bervin. Hi, Bervin, welcome back. If a person is new to cybersecurity, what would be a good job for the person where they can learn and grow?
I would say hands down a SOC,
And
security
what about you,
center.
Sophie? Same?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, SOC is a very good like place to start. You can also do a lot of like incident response, like especially analyzing logs that doesn't require a lot of like a lot of like technical like knowledge, but it can
Hmm.
help you like to analyze logs so you sort of understand the background of like cyber, so you know what is wrong, what is happening. So and to look for a position where you can grow. So in stock you can grow also as an incident responder. You can also grow a lot, like you can end up being like a manager of a big team.
Hmm.
So those are the things that you can start. And of course, you need to find like sometimes in a small team, it will help you like find good mentors directly because it's a small team. So they will try to mentor you as opposed to if you just like start working for Google or like like Mandiant, which are like huge like companies. But a small like company, you will be able to find like a lot of mentorship.
Okay, thank you so much for both your answers. And hopefully, Bervin, this helps you move forward. Or if you're advising a friend, I hope that this is very good advice, solid one
Mhm.
to move forward with.
Mhm.
We actually have more questions coming in, and a user on Substack is asking, why do you think users still fall for phishing in 2025, and what works best for awareness training?
Hmm.
So I feel like they still fall for it because the lack of education. Not everybody has a cyber brain or understands that this is happening and this could happen to you and this could happen to anyone. I also think it's because they're very they can target specific people, right? My
Mhm.
mom got a phone call that made her go to the bank, take out money, tried to take out money twice.
Mhm.
The first time she went, she didn't have her card. She was so nervous. The second time she went, and thankfully the cab driver understood that she was under duress on a phone call, and
Uh-huh.
the cops were called in. So my mom is in her 70s. So they know which kind of people, if you clicked on something once that was sent to you, they might have that record. Or they are just going to bombard you with messages until you answer the call or until you
Mhm.
believe what they're saying. So that's why also their tactics are changing. Again, just like our tactics are changing with AI and we have more things that we could do, they're doing the same thing. We have a tool at work that can pick up a lot of fake wording in the email and it gets sent
Mhm.
somewhere else. But now they're finding other ways to not put specifically the email. They write it out instead of actually putting the email in so they can get around the tool. There's other ways.
Wow.
They're getting more and more as the tools get more and more advanced,
Yep.
so do the other side. Both sides are
Yep.
competing, right?
And there's another question coming in. How have you seen cybersecurity landscape change over the past year? I suppose one with being that both sides are competing, the AI used for good and the AI used for bad. What else could there be?
I think
Yeah.
that go ahead, Sylvia.
No, no, no. You can say that. Yeah.
No, I was just because I was looking at the question before and it's like, oh, in a year,
Yeah.
a lot has changed. And where I see cybersecurity has changed in different ways. One, I feel like we're going to be continue to see new jobs that have AI in it. Now, LLMs have been around for forever, and
Yeah.
AI has been around for forever, especially in cyber. Why? Because we have user base signals that we get, right?
Hmm.
That has been AI for a long time, and we've had it for a long time. So it hasn't changed. It's just that people are now more aware of it, and people are more introduced to what an LLM is and this technology that has been around for a long time. It's now
Mhm.
user base, now the user knows everything about it, whereas us in the field of cyber, we've known about it for quite some time and the tools have been using it for quite some time. So I just foresee it in the last year. I've seen a lot of talk and a lot of things that have to do, like AI is the new cybersecurity when it came out not too long ago, because again, this field is not that old.
Mhm.
So I think, like, you know how they have buzzwords? AI is the new buzzword. Anybody else?
Yeah.
This year, it's the buzzword.
Yeah.
What about you,
Thank you
Sophia?
so much.
Yeah, and for me, I'm gonna go on a different direction. What I've seen this past year, and it's something we talked about last week during our Ask Me Anything Cyber. It was about this quarter, Q3, have seen a decline on ransomware payments. So what
Mhm.
I'm seeing here, like, and how like cybersecurity is evolving, is because why companies are not paying ransomware right now. This is because cyber education is working. They have incident response planning, they have cloud backup. So I see this year like ransomwares are not being that effective because companies are taking cybersecurity seriously. So I see a shift this 2025 on this like cybersecurity posture that companies are having right now with this like headline that ransomware payments are declining. So
Yeah.
this is good news. I'm not saying ransomware are like declining, it's ransomware payments. So it
Yeah.
means that even though gangs out there are still perpetrating ransomware attacks to companies, payments are not going through because the companies are having the right tools to protect against this. So even though they
Yeah.
may be a victim, so you have like Quelling ransomware gang, or even like Lockbit saying, you know what, we have like have your data or whatever, please pay us. Companies know, you know what, we have a good backup, we have a good incident response plan right now in 2025, so we're not going to be a victim, so we're not going to be paying. So I see this as a good sign that cybersecurity is working, and I see what is changing and how 2025 is like is changing over this past year.
Yeah, and hopefully this discourages, the ransomware deployers that,
Well, I
they're
don't know
not
if
gonna
it's
pay.
gonna discourage them. I think they're gonna find a different angle
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
make people work. So as cybersecurity professionals, we need to keep an eye on what is this new angle, so we can
Mhm.
inform the company so they can take action. And it doesn't take forever, like 3, 5 years. So they have
Exactly.
a good incident response plan. So let's just patch. Let's have an amendment to your incident response plan of what this new angle is going to be about. So everybody should keep an eye on what is their next technique, what is going to happen, and how to protect against that fast.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, both of you, for your answer. And we're going to talk about some of real life problems from Reddit users who have, raised their queries. So, one Reddit user shared that they were scammed by a fake online data entry job. The scammers asked for small deposits through UPI. Those of you who don't know what UPI is and watching us from outside of India, UPI is a common way that, we transfer money from bank to bank. And it's very easy, quick and easy. And we scan QRs or just enter their UPI ID or phone numbers and it goes. The money transfers. So with that, they promised higher pay later. And after several payments, the user realized that it was a scam. They're asking if there's any way to recover their money or what steps they can take next. So, Sophie and Nelly, what should someone do if they're sent money in a situation like this? Would you like a minute to read the entire?
That this I could answer from my experience. This happened to someone that I know where
Mhm.
I work. It wasn't a job scam, but they stole money from them, and they tried to involve the authorities, and it didn't go anywhere. They tried to involve the bank, and it didn't go anywhere. My What I told her is, you need a cyber forensic engineer to help you, right? You need to understand, where did it happen? How did it happen? Where are the funds going? How are the things transferred? Do you have any documentation that you can go to the authorities to try to
Mhm.
get that back? That's like remedy after the fact, because sadly the money's gone. It's
Mhm.
gone. And for you to get it back, depending on who you are and where you sit on the totem pole, it may or may not be of importance, right? So it sucks to say this, but the money is gone and she's never going to get it back, right? And what you can do is understand this so that it doesn't happen again, right? So it
Yep.
doesn't happen to you a second time. Understand to move your money, not to have, like for her, in her instance, where did it originate from? In her instance, in this instance, it's clearly originating from this job scam. And I think we spoke about earlier the things to look for
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
in it, so that you don't have to be in this predicament. Because now what do? Now how do you get that money back? They're not just going to hand it back to you, and you're going to have to again come with a good case and hope that you get a lawyer or someone that's going to try to back you up, especially when
Mhm.
it's your earned cash. It's not credit money that we're talking about, because then the credit bureaus get involved. It's
Yeah.
your hard-earned cash. So it's really hard to get that back. So sadly, what I would say is, understand all of these points and keep them for the next time, because right now I don't know enough, in especially where she's at or where this person is,
Mhm.
to know what are the legal avenues that they could take.
Yeah. I can actually help you with that. You can go to cybercrime.gov.in. That is where you should file a complaint. And even if you do not get your money back, as Nelia mentioned, this is a huge rabbit hole that you might go down. But even if you don't get your money back, at least they will be aware that there is this type of group that is doing this activity
Yeah.
and it will be listed. And next time something like this happens, just chat GPT and you'll be
Yeah.
able to find out.
And I always emphasize on the fact that you still should report it, because it piles on all the other victims that they may have been warned
Mhm.
because somebody reported it. So it's very important, even though unfortunately I'm sorry to hear that, but you won't be able to get your money back sometimes, but you actually can help and other people not to fall for these scams. So from time to time the FBI sends reports and sends alerts saying, this is a type of scam that is happening.
Mhm.
And I'm in Brooklyn, and at the library, at the local library, they usually have workshops where they talk about the scams around that is happening. So it sort of helps you report it, so the more people know, the less effective this scam is. So it's very important. And I always like, even though you feel like you want, like, get your money back, at least you are warning others of not falling victims of certain scams.
Definitely. And we have another question coming from Reddit. Another user who is new to cybersecurity, who is a new cybersecurity engineer, asked which conferences are truly useful for learning and networking. They want events focused on professional growth, not just vendor marketing. So, Nelia and Sophie, which conferences or community events would you recommend for genuine learning and connection?
So we just had one in New York. Latinas in Cyber had the summit, which was amazing. And all I hear from everyone that went is that they got a lot of value, um,
Mhm.
connections. Me and Sophia met there. You network. That is, I feel, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've been to RSA and I made one or two connections. It's in San Francisco. It was not as good when it comes to connections as the summit, the Latinas in Cyber Summit that we'll have again next year. Or I went to another Tech Ladies had a summit. It was very small, and that's where I make more connections. I'm part of a group in LinkedIn with a lot of those women's from that summit that I went to, and
Mhm.
there was a lot of resources, and we were talking about jobs, and a lot of people are looking for jobs, and those are connections. And someone told me, are you looking for a job? And I said, no, thank you. She was like, are you sure you can still do this? That's my point. Those were really small. The smaller I feel like the conference, the more connections you're going to make. And any conference that you go to, try to make at least three connections. That is what
Okay.
I say. What about you, Sophia?
Yeah, I mean, I will always recommend Latinos in Cyber. It was a great experience for me, and I make like very valuable connections like Nelia here.
Mhm.
And in 2 weeks, we're gonna have Eugene. I also met him there, so he's gonna be talking about Zero Trust Network. So you see, like, it works.
Yeah.
And I always tell everybody, like, if you don't want to go to this shiny conference out there like RSA or maybe Black Hat, DEF CON, there's always like local activities in your community. I use Meetup a lot. There's a lot of cybersecurity gatherings, especially like in the tri-state area where I'm located. There's also B-Sides. If you heard about them, it's like a spin-off of DEF CON a little bit, but a little bit more community focused. It happened, unfortunately, at the same time as Latinos in Cyber, like 2 or 3 weekends ago. But it was a very, very good conference if you want to
Mhm.
access. And also, ISECA, it has a very good chapters all over the country if you're in the US. It does have some also in Latin America. You should find them. They are very, like, a very close community focused on cyber. I got the opportunity to attend one in Las Vegas, where we get to meet the FBI director of Las Vegas, and it was great because you get to meet a lot of like cyber enthusiasts and professionals there,
Yeah.
and it entitles a membership, but you can always like sign up for them.
And one last
Thank
thing,
you so much.
one last
Yeah.
thing I want to say. since we are launching the New York chapter, we're going to have more meetups, and again, that small community as we are growing, and our events are free as well.
That's
Free
nice.
and
That's
full
great
of
to hear.
knowledge.
Yes.
And networking at its core. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
And Nelia, if you had to give one golden rule to anyone applying for jobs online in IT or cybersecurity, what would that be?
So cybersecurity isn't just a career. I feel like it's more of a mindset. Whether you're protecting Fortune 500 network or your own phone, we are part of the same ecosystem, and that's what I love most. It's not about the perfection of cyber and making this thing so perfect that it doesn't work, because that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
It's more about the progress and awareness.
Thank you so much. And Nelia and Sophie, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been inspiring to hear from you and your journey and your passion towards cybersecurity education and definitely representation. Before we move to our next segment, let's take a quick look about the cyber briefing where we highlight some of the week's top cybersecurity stories.
Stay ahead of the cyber curve with real-time alerts, incident reports, and the latest cybersecurity news, all in one streamlined, easy-to-read newsletter. Join more than 20,000 subscribers who rely on Cyber Briefing, available on LinkedIn, Medium, and now on Substack. Don't wait to protect your digital world. Subscribe today and stay informed with Cyber Briefing by Cyber Material.
Thank you so much once again, Nelly, for joining us. I hope that we, have talked to people enough about Latinas in cyber and we can get a lot more people enthusiastic, about it.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing, and hopefully, Sophie, I'm going to see you again.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much for
Nelia.
joining
Thank
us.
you so much. It has been a very insightful session, and I hope everybody we're able to gather good stuff from this, and hopefully everybody can reach out to Nelia on LinkedIn. She's very active, and subscribe to her YouTube channel too.
Cyber with Nelia. Don't forget.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for joining. See you soon.
Bye.
All right, Sophie, let's break down the alerts, incidents, and news. So, the first one is Teams bugs lets hackers impersonate coworkers.
Yeah. So this is a serious issue that we covered on this week's cyber briefing, and it has been publicly disclosed already. There's a bug in Microsoft Teams that raised the risk of deep impersonation and social engineering tactics. So it goes on the lines that we've been talking during this session. So a lot of companies, they use Microsoft Teams to interview job seekers. So this means that they can impersonate any agency or recruiting agency. So this has been reported by Checkpoint security researchers. They found this vulnerability in Teams that allows attackers to actually modify the content of a chat message without leaving the edited label. It means that somebody can edit a message that it was sent through Teams.
Wow.
It can also change the apparent sender of a message or notification. So it make it look like it's coming from a trusted colleague or a C-suite executive. So be careful. And also it after the display name in calls, the caller appears to be someone else when it's not. So be careful of those. And it really matters because there's a lot of companies that rely on Microsoft Teams,
Yeah.
and not only for like recruiting or interviewing, also talking like for clients or customers. So it's very important that you patch immediately. Microsoft has released a fix yesterday. It's under CVE 2024-38197. And you should update your applications mobile. If you are using it also on desktop, you should update it as well. Anyway, be careful, be aware of this is happening out there, and always double check and make sure to patch.
Thank you so much, Sophie. And for these alerts, you can just go up and subscribe to our cyber briefing because we definitely will keep you updated and you will know what to watch out for, especially these days with the job hunting scenario and everything going on. We understand and we would like to keep you updated. So make sure to subscribe. And for the incident, we had, like last week, talked about critical infrastructure. And today we're going to talk about hackers target UK water suppliers. So, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that, Sophie?
So this seems like a trend out there because there's been a
Mm.
lot of attacks on like countries' national infrastructure, like critical
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure. Last week we talked about Sweden and we talked about Canada, and now we have the UK. It
Yeah.
looks like they a recent disclosure from the Drinking Water Inspectorate, which is part of the UK drinking water supply system. They said they have seen the past year the highest number of attacks on this sector. So
Mm.
what this really means, these attackers are hitting water supply companies, not just their IT system, but the system supporting the water service, which is really like worrisome here. So far, none of these attacks actually disrupted the water supply,
Mhm.
but it's a warning that they are like very close to doing that. Now, when we talk about water supply, this is critical infrastructure because it impacts a lot of people. And
Yeah.
cyber actors breaching this system, it means that they're a step away from affecting availability, safety, or trust on those essential
Yeah.
services. But to combat this, the UK government they introduced a cybersecurity and resilience bill amendment, and so hopefully by the end of the year they will pass it and they will get more resources allocated to protecting cricketer infrastructure.
Yeah. This is worrisome because, as you mentioned, it can affect health and even availability. So I hope that they get it done as soon as possible. And by the end of the year, by the looks of it, it's possibly going to be soon. And
Mhm.
for this, Microsoft Edge introduces a scareware sensor to detect and block fake pop-up alerts. So,
So, as I always want to say, I don't want to make cybersecurity scary, as like attacking critical infrastructure that can affect
yeah.
humans. But I wanted to talk about proactive things that is happening in cybersecurity. And Microsoft has launched a new version of Microsoft Edge, which is their browser, and it has an inbuilt tool to protect like users from scareware tactics. For those who don't know what scareware are, these are techniques, social engineering techniques. So when you
Mm.
visit a website, usually has a pop-up that says you have a virus on your computer or you've been affected, you have an issue with your machine. So it sort of scares you. That's what is coming. It's scare
Hmm.
and where from adware. So it's like it trying to like from malware. So it's like
Yep.
it's something that is trying to take action, and sometimes it involves like contacting someone or reaching out to a fake tech support scam,
Uh-huh.
how it works. So Microsoft came out with a new solution, and you should update your Microsoft Edge to version 142 or later.
Yeah.
Now, this is like a section on you have to go to settings, and you will have to enable the scareware button if you don't if you haven't done it yet. If you just using Edge by it will be enabled by default. So
Mm.
it's very good because it works locally. It means on the user's machine, and it will signal like a smart screen quickly that it would say this company has been reported as a scam, so please close the window, or it will just block it like
Yeah.
directly. So it's a very positive step towards like protecting users that may not be like educated or aware of different scam techniques. And
Hmm.
I'm very happy that like companies are working towards protecting users and make it seamless, because it
Yeah.
doesn't involve like a lot of education. It's just activating a button on your
Yep.
browser. So hopefully other like browser providers they
Yeah, I was about to
copy
say.
this like Chrome or Brave or Firefox.
Yep. Definitely. I was about to say that other browsers also need to take a look at this, see that this is a very good initiative, and go ahead and participate in it. So, thank you so much, Sophie, for debriefing our cyber briefing.
Mhm.
And thank you for everyone who joined us for today's Ask Me Anything Cyber. A huge thank you to Nelia Feliz once again for sharing her story and insights, and to my co host, Sophie, for another engaging conversation.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you for
every session
watching.
reminds us.
Stay tuned for our next Ask Me Anything
Oh.
Cyber, a fun, interactive weekly event for everything cybersecurity. Join us every week at noon Eastern Time for another high-energy recap of the week's biggest cyber stories, from data breaches and threat intel to major legal updates. Whether it's a high-profile hack, a new APT on the rise, or a must-attend summit, we've got it covered. But that's not all. We'll also break down the latest job market trends, share our thoughts on cyber stocks, and give you actionable insights to stay ahead. And of course, we wrap things up with what makes this show special, live Q&A with you. Have a question about a breach? Want to know how a threat works? Curious about getting started in cyber? Let us know and we'll answer it live. See you next week.